Alright, Blakey! That's fine. 我靠！
Right now, a coastal emergency is unfolding along California's shoreline, and you might not have time to react. A 4.4 magnitude earthquake struck Southern California, shaking already failing coastal cliffs weakened by months of storms, erosion, and relentless wave impact. Scientists warn, one wrong move, one coastal collapse, could displace massive amounts of rock into the ocean and trigger a sudden tsunami. Coastal roads, homes, and entire cliffside communities are now at immediate risk. This isn't a warning for tomorrow. This coastal emergency is happening right now. California's coastline is in immediate danger. The ocean is not calm. Waves crash harder than ever, and the cliffs that have stood for centuries are groaning under relentless pressure. Months of storm surges, king tides, and constant erosion have weakened the bluffs, creating an unstable wall of rock and soil along the Pacific. Coastal homes, roads, and infrastructure are perched on the edge, teetering above an abyss that could swallow them in seconds. This is not a forecast for tomorrow. This is the present. The emergency is already here. Along the coast, cliffs have been retreating at alarming rates. Geologists have documented sections collapsing in storm season, some losing tens of meters in days. Sandstone, shale, and fractured rock have formed precarious stacks, each layer vulnerable to water, wind, and gravity. The ocean does not wait, and neither does erosion. Every wave that hits the cliffs is another strike, weakening supports already stretched thin. One wrong combination of tides, rain, and structural instability could trigger sudden landslides, sending tons of rock and soil plummeting into the water. The water responds instantly. Even moderate collapses can generate a tsunami, a fast-moving surge capable of flooding nearby beaches and harbor areas within minutes. These waves do not give warnings. They form silently, rise violently, and strike without mercy. Residents, tourists, and infrastructure near the coast face extreme risk because time to react is measured in seconds, not minutes. California's roads along the cliffs are another hazard. Highway 1, coastal streets in Malibu, Santa Barbara, Big Sur. All of these roads run perilously close to unstable cliffs. Sections are already cracking, tilting, or sinking. Guardrails that once offered protection now lean toward the ocean, held upright only by weakened soil. Homes built decades ago near these bluffs were safe once, but repeated storms and erosion have pushed safety margins to their breaking point. The moment these cliffs fail, transportation becomes impossible, isolating residents and complicating evacuation efforts. Along certain beaches, the danger is invisible. From above, the cliffs seem solid, but satellite imagery and drone surveys reveal fissures, undermined foundations, and bulging layers ready to collapse. Tides and waves are natural demolition crews, slicing into cliff bases, carrying away support material, and leaving overhanging masses suspended in gravity's grip. Every coastal storm, every high tide, accelerates this process. Even small events are deadly. A few cubic meters of falling rock can trigger localized tsunami waves, strong enough to overturn boats, sweep cars from roads, and flood nearby properties. Larger collapses could send waves tens of meters across beaches, destroying piers, marinas, and boardwalks. The true horror is that these events are unpredictable. Coastal erosion does not issue warnings, and no one can predict the exact moment a cliff will fail. Authorities are issuing advisories. People are urged to stay off beaches below cliffs, avoid coastal roads during high tides and storms, and be prepared for evacuation at a moment's notice. Emergency services are on standby, monitoring high-risk areas with drones, satellite feeds, and tide gauges. But even the best monitoring cannot stop the ocean or hold back gravity. All they can do is warn. The Pacific itself is restless. Sea levels are rising, currents shifting, and storms are intensifying. Waves repeatedly hammer the cliffs, eroding rock faster than in decades past. Sediments at the cliff base are washed away continuously, leaving nothing to hold the remaining layers. Some experts estimate that coastal erosion has increased by 20 to 30% over the last 5 years due to extreme weather events. The timing could not be worse. Combined with recent earthquakes, these cliffs are closer to failure than many realize. Infrastructure damage is another urgent concern. Power lines, water systems, and communications networks run along or near the cliffs. Collapse of the bluff could sever connections, leaving communities isolated just when emergency services are most needed. Coastal roads that are now the lifeline for residents could disappear in minutes. This is the deadly paradox of California's coastline. Beauty and danger coexist, and the margin for error is razor thin. Tourists add another layer of risk. Many visit California's beaches and scenic cliffs unaware of the hidden dangers. One misstep, one unexpected collapse, and there is no escape. Even small rockfalls can sweep people into the ocean. Lifeguards and coastal patrols have increased vigilance, but their reach is limited. When the ocean moves violently, seconds matter. Local governments are implementing measures. Sections of Highway 1 and other coastal roads have been closed. Coastal parks have issued evacuation notices. Emergency shelters are being prepped. But all these measures are reactive, not preventive. The ocean does not negotiate, and coastal erosion does not pause for human convenience. Even minor earthquakes exacerbate the problem. Recent tremors have shaken cliffs already weakened by erosion. They act like a tipping scale, slightly destabilizing rocks and soil that were holding on by friction. These small movements increase the likelihood of landslides, which, combined with heavy surf and tidal surges, can create sudden, catastrophic events. But the earthquake is secondary. The core threat is the coastline itself, already fragile, already stressed, already a disaster waiting to happen. Scientists continue to study the coastline carefully. Ground sensors, satellite measurements, and drone inspections feed real-time data to geologists and emergency planners. Each observation confirms the same urgent message. The coastline is at critical risk. Every storm, every high tide, every wave increases pressure. The situation is dynamic, unstable, and extremely dangerous. What the public needs to understand is simple. Do not underestimate the coast. What appears to be a calm ocean can become a deadly wall of water in seconds if cliffs fail. Evacuate when authorities advise. Stay away from bluff edges. Avoid beaches below cliffs during high tides. Preparedness saves lives, because along California's coast, the most dangerous disasters happen silently. As night falls, the cliffs may look unchanged, the waves may appear routine. But beneath the surface, forces are at work. The ocean listens to the land, and the land responds to every wave, every storm, every tremor. California's coast is alive, stressed, and ready to remind humanity of its raw power. The emergency is ongoing. Not next week, not next month. It is happening now. Roads can collapse. Homes can be destroyed. Waves can rise without warning. And when it happens, there will be no pause, no siren, no second chance. The only response that saves lives is vigilance, respect for the coastline, and immediate action when danger is present. This is a coastal emergency like no other.